Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cheryl's Place. Look at who I got here. Man, I can't get rid of this girl. She's here all the time. No, I love her, and I would talk with her every single day. Welcome, Misty, to the live stream tonight.
Thank you, Cheryl. You know, I am happy to join you anytime, especially tonight, as long as we can figure out how to go live. Yay, we did
We did
it.
it. Well, I got this. I'm not going to move it. I'll show it on maybe one of my update videos, but it's a thing for reading books. It's a magnifying sheet, and I have
Mm.
it here so then I don't need to wear my readers. I can read everybody in the comments.
Oh,
So,
nice.
because it's all ginormous, I couldn't see where the little mouse
To
was
go
to hit
live with us.
the go
Right.
live. All
That
right.
makes sense.
We have our fabulous Misty here. She's an extra special guest because my secret guest tonight, she is not feeling well, and it's Miss Alita, and we want to send out love and healing, and we miss you, girl. And we'll do a live someday down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I will try my best to be as funny as Alita, but I'm probably not going to be able to do it. But
We'll do our best.
I'll try. I cannot do her accent, even though I adore it, but I'll keep my Texas one for y'all. So, yeah, we hope you feel better, Alita. I know you love talking to Cheryl just as much as I do. So, if anyone is a good stand in, I figured it would be me for Alita because I love her. So,
Exactly.
I am happy to be here always to talk about things, Cheryl, but we do hope Alita gets better.
Yeah, we sure do. Well, let's say some hellos to who we got in here. I
Yeah.
see that we have Sharon and Kenneth and Miss Mary and Marcy. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy you're here for the live. And you know what? The beautiful thing is we just don't have one hobby or passions. We have many. So that's the beauty of, I was going to ask Misty to come on again in a few months or a couple months, in the rotation, but hey, guess what? We're just doing a little bit sooner, and that's A-okay.
That's okay. I am always prepared and ready to talk about my passions and
Well, we
hobbies.
talked a lot about fitness and things you did when you're younger, but let's dive into things that maybe some people who haven't been watching your videos or lives, because you mostly talked about, I believe, on your live streams, is your passion now for making sourdough breads.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, howdy everybody. It's your pal Misty. And I have lost half my body weight over the last I just hit my 4-year health and fitness anniversary on the 2nd. So in doing all of these things and in losing all of this weight, the predominant way that I've been eating is a keto low carb lifestyle. And I wanted to incorporate healthy carbs as per my last passion of fitness. Sometimes nice healthy carbs are an easy source of energy for fitness related activities. Oh boy. Oh
Arnhem
boy.
or Ruby, or both.
It's playtime. I'm sorry, everybody.
Little babies, little babies.
Yeah. So with that, I wanted some healthier carbs, and I started doing some research. And I've always loved bread. That's that's
Love
not
bread.
a secret. I've always said if you could give me a loaf of garlic bread, I could eat it. So Barnum, stop it. I'm sorry. Give me just a second.
No worries. I'm going to highlight this. Sharon says she is down, I think, let me see, 142 pounds since August of last year.
Wow.
That's fabulous, Sharon. Congratulations.
That is absolutely fabulous, Sharon, and a huge change to your life. I know because I've lost a little bit more than that. But yeah, in that realm, they're gonna sound like they're killing each other.
No, we're fine. They're just joining. They're joining the
I just
fun.
wanted to let y'all know. I promise I wouldn't actually let them kill each other, except for maybe like every other Friday. Hey, Gina.
Hate it. It is Misty again. Our poor friend Alita's sick today, so she couldn't do the live. So Misty is graciously helping me out tonight.
Sure, anytime, Cheryl. So back to sourdough. I started doing research, and I've always loved bread. And I had heard that sourdough was lower on the glycemic index and would not like impact me as much as a regular white bread would, right? And I was eating the keto breads, which, and I do still eat them from time to time. I'm not going to lie about it or anything, but I will be honest. The list of ingredients is long.
It is. It
And
really is. Mm-hmm.
I am trying to be the healthiest version of myself. And so I do try to make my foods be healthier versions most of the time, right? It's not perfection. It's just the best that you can on any day. So I was like, well, sourdough, I mean, that sounds kind of cool. It's lower on the glycemic index and has honestly always just been one of my favorite breads, just for the flavor of it, the texture of it. I've just always really enjoyed sourdough. Like we have, do y'all have Jack in the Box up there?
No, but I've been to them when I've been on vacations.
Okay, so Jack in the Box is a fast food restaurant, but it's one of the few fast food restaurants that you can get sourdough bread. And I would get every burger they had and sub it on their sourdough. But then what I started learning about sourdough too is a lot of the sourdough that you get at like fast food places and even in the grocery stores is regular bread with sourdough flavor, which has absolutely none of the health benefits. It still tastes good, but it has none of the health benefits. So you and I are part of the Fit Squad with our coach, Kirsten, over at Quick Fit Home Workouts. And one of the members of the Fit Squad, Lisa, does sourdough workshops.
Yes.
But she lives in North Carolina because we're from all over the place, right? So she kept posting it. And so one day, just kind of being funny, to be honest, I was like, you ever want to do one of them on Zoom for us who, can't join you there in person? Me being my snarky self. Every time I'm snarky, I get myself into some kind of trouble. Not always bad.
You're doing an accidental new thing.
Right. So she was like, well, she's like, I've never done one over Zoom. I'm not exactly sure how it would work. I can't send you starter. Normally I make them for people. She's like, so we'll try it. And so me and another member of the Fit Squad, Tia, both went to her Zoom session for sourdough. And she talked to us for about an hour. And she had us buy a sourdough starter from the King Arthur Bread Company. And mine, for whatever reason, we still don't know. I might have just gotten a dud of a starter. Mine did not work. Hey, LB. Mine did not work.
That does happen because it's fresh ingredients. Yes. It's being shipped. It's,
Yeah. So, I put it immediately in my fridge when I got it, but it is Texas. It was July, so it's probably 130 degrees in them trucks. Like, you never know, right? So I wasn't upset about it because it wasn't on her.
Yeah.
But I was kind of sad that it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I saw, well, you can go to places and, people will give you their starter that they use. And I called a couple of places and nobody had starter for sale. Most of them just make regular bread and put the sourdough flavor in it. Even in like the big grocery chains that do the fresh bread, they're still not actually doing sourdough. So I started, since I like YouTube so much, I started researching on YouTube, like, how do you make sourdough starter from like on your own? And there were a bunch of different videos on it. And so I found one and I read some stuff online. I found a recipe online and then I just started my own starter. And like a week later, I had bread. And then that's when everybody told me, do you know how hard it is to make your own starter from scratch? I was like, nope, it was real easy. I did all of the steps for 7 days and then it made bread. It was not the best bread. It probably needed another 3 or 4 days before it actually got a good rise in it, was really active and things like that. So I probably did make bread too soon, to be honest. But
because you're excited, it's working. I want to make some bread.
I was like, and it didn't taste bad. It just was the dense, it would have made some great breadcrumbs
or croutons, right? Or something of that nature.
Yeah. So, I just started making the bread, and then I would I would freeze it.
Mhm.
And really, there is an added benefit to that because there has been new research on resistant starches. And one of the things that they're looking into is bread. It's really commonly known for potatoes and rice, but they're researching bread now too, and it's falling into that resistant starch category. And if you've never heard of that, what that basically means is if you're looking at how the food impacts your sugar levels, your glucose levels, you want something that's on lower on the glycemic index. And when you take a starchy food like that, the potatoes, the rice, the bread, and then you freeze it and then reheat it, you lower its glycemic index. So sourdough is already, if not the lowest carb and glycemic index bread around. I freeze it and then I eat it. So I'm lowering it even more. So the impact that it has on my body is so much less
Yeah.
than even, or probably maybe equal to the keto bread.
Oh yeah, and you
But
have fresh
my
water,
bread
and
has
you're not.
flour,
Yeah.
salt,
Mm-hmm.
and water. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that it, unless I go fancy sometimes with like an olive oil, rosemary, or a cinnamon loaf, or a garlic and herb, but
Yeah.
it has 3 things in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for me. I love it. And it's been so enjoyable. I give it away a lot because I like to bake, but I don't eat a lot of bread. um, so I have to give it away or else it just, there's nothing to do with it. So it's been so much fun being able to, there have been people that I've known that have recently been in a little bit of time of need. And I'm like, you want some bread?
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, yeah, a loaf of bread would be great. I'm like, okay, it's like an artisan sourdough loaf because those are my favorite. So even though I'm making it for people, I bake what I want to bake. And then I'm like, hey, I have this free thing. Would you like it? And they were like, that saved them, lots of money. They had a kid and they were like, my kid ate, sourdough sandwich and peanut butter and jellies for, grilled cheese. It makes a wonderful grilled cheese too, by the way. But it helped them, and just being able to bless someone with that and just saying, that I love you and I thought about you and I wanted to do this thing for you or give you this or things like that, makes me feel really good. So I like it. It is systematic. It is timed. There is structure behind it, but it's so forgiving that even if you screw it all up, you don't have to throw it away. You can figure out something to do with whatever you made because it's still just flour, water, and salt for the
Yeah.
most part, right? So,
And plus, you're doing how should I say, less expensive bread than I did back in the day. I did that Amish bread, and that sucked up tons of money because you had to pudding and I don't even remember everything, but
no.
but it's a similar thing. Is it's on the counter, you have to feed it, you do all the things to keep it alive, and then after 10 days, then all of a sudden you gotta either keep 1 cup of it. You have to always have 1 cup of it, but otherwise you have to decide the rest of it if you're going to make bread or you're chucking it because it can't be frozen, all that stuff. So then after a while, it's like I don't know how many years I did it, but then it's like, okay, it's ridiculous because sometimes I would be making, I don't know, 20 loaves every 10 days, and because people like you give it away, people like it. It's a blessing to give away. They like it. And we only kept a little. I gave most away, but then it's like, okay, now I'm spending too much time, too much money, and then I started not as enjoying it as much because it was just got a little out of hand.
Yeah, I mean, and you could go cheaper ways even with what I do, but I do get the organic bread flour and all-purpose flour, but I get the HEB brand, so even that's a little bit cheaper than the other organics. And sometimes I'll buy a bigger bag of it, which saves a little bit. But yeah, you're talking about a couple of dollars a loaf, which for a keto bread, that's what you would pay anyway. even for a regular loaf of bread, you can find them on sale for super cheap. But when I look at the ingredient list, I'd rather have flour,
Well,
water, and
absolutely.
salt.
Absolutely.
Um,
Sometimes you can't pronounce some of this stuff on the keto bread. Well, other products too. But it's like if you got the time, you got the means, and you can make your delicious bread, why not? Because it's truly not hard. Once you learn the steps, it really is not a hard process. And
it's
you
really
mentioned making flavors. Now you're beyond just a traditional. What have been your favorite flavors so far you've made?
the cinnamon loaf that I make is very popular. I've had that request. I saw Mary said she needed another one. Okay, friend, I got you. But I do my cinnamon loaf in a sugar-free variety. So I don't use sugar with the cinnamon and butter. I use it's the HB brand again. It's an erythritol allulose monk fruit blend. So it's sugar substitute, not sugar alcohols, just the granulated sugar, or sugar substitute. So it's still lower carb, but lower calorie. So that's really popular. It depends on the person. I have one person who really likes the garlic and herb, and that's probably my favorite. I like just the regular loaf, but my favorite flavored is probably the garlic and herb. But then, like my best friend's son and his fiance, they both love the rosemary and olive oil. That's their favorite. So I make that for them a couple of times, every couple of weeks, maybe like once a month, once or twice a month. So, because they love that one. So those are my favorites. But I still just do the loaves. One of the best things that happened, to be honest, as a byproduct of so I get, when I say my passions and hobbies, it's just on what day you ask me, because what I have are actually hyperfixations where I will be totally focused on a passion or a hobby for either a very short time or a very long time. And then it just drops off, like crochet. I was into crochet for a long, long time. Then it goes poof. But the fun thing about this one is I was so into it and I was researching it and I was trying to do my own starter and all this stuff. And then my mom's like, I'm going to try. I was like, okay, you can do it. And boy, she struggled. The struggle was real. It took her almost a month of trying to make her own starter. And I was like, Mom, they said it was hard. I don't know. I don't know how mine didn't go hard. All I can think is maybe since I did at least have the starter from King Arthur, there was a little bit of something in there. Or they even say once you start to bake sourdough, you get it in the air, and then it makes it work faster. So my mom, I was like, don't give up, Mom. Don't give up. Just keep trying. Try this, try this. We were researching. We learned more about sourdough together from hers failing over and over. Not that she was doing anything wrong. That's just, it's the way it goes with sourdough. So she finally made a starter. She made a loaf. And she fell in love, like even more than me. And she is so good at it because she has made not only the artisan loaves and the flavored loaves, but she's made English muffins.
Fabulous.
Regular muffins. She's made, she does this sandwich bread that is just light and fluffy. And because what she found is she's in Louisiana, people don't like the artisan sourdough loaf there. So even if she bakes it, she can't give it away because nobody wants it. But they'll eat things like the English muffins or different types of muffins or things like that. And it has relaxed her. It has eased her anxiety. So like one of the best byproducts of this is that it accidentally became a passion that my mom and I share together.
That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. And so if any of you caught my live stream and my Christmas opening, this is all sourdough stuff. I loved every piece of it.
No, that is wonderful. And that's something you can share. And if you do try, like, create a different flavor you love, say, hey, Mom, I just tried this. Maybe you might like this. Or she can do the same thing, send it your way. Now I have a question because I do see a lot of, because I'll watch baking stuff because I enjoy baking. They have like a fancy little knife to maybe cut on the top for design. Do you do that too?
It's called a lame, which I think is the silliest name for
Lame?
Yeah,
L-A-M?
it's actually French.
Oh, okay.
And
That
I
makes
think it's lame or something
okay.
like that.
Okay.
I call it lame because it's Lame, but the lame makes it look cool, which I think is funny. It's me and my stupid jokes. But yes, and in fact, for the artisan loaves, which are my favorite, those are the if you don't know what I mean by that, I know you do, Cheryl, because you've seen them, but it's the really rustic looking loaf, and you cut it because the sourdough needs to be able to rise to get the texture that you're looking for, that springy bounce back texture of a classic airy sourdough with the big bubbles.
Yeah.
So when you take it and you score it, it gives it a place to then open up and rise. And that little lip that it can form sometimes is called the ear.
Oh,
And
that
so
makes
there
sense.
will be like food porn pictures of sourdough ears and people just love it and they get really impressed, and they look at the crumb, which is the inner part of the bread, and it blister on the outside, which meant you got a really good proof. And
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
there's just
Ooh.
so many things about these loaves. But then if you're doing something like a white bread, you don't have to cut it because you basically press a lot of the air out of it anyway. Or like when I do my cinnamon rolls or cinnamon loaf, I don't score it open because I want it to be contained within itself. It gives it a different texture,
Yeah.
but it's great and I love it.
I
So
love the feeling of dough, like bread dough. Once it's all you've kneaded it, and it's just something about that feeling of the dough. It
what have you never made sourdough?
I've never made sourdough. I have made other kinds of breads where I had to knead it. Like
Uh-huh. Well,
I can't
because
think of just
sourdough is different than any other dough I have ever worked
okay.
with ever. It is a wet dough, like super wet. You don't knead it like you need a
Oh, so
bread
it's not going to
dough.
have that.
It does eventually, but you
Yep.
have to be really, we call it the stretch and fold,
Okay.
where you just gingerly take your hands in, you bring it up, you let it's sticky, so it'll stick to your hands and your fingers, and then you fold it over, and then you'll go to the next side and you'll stretch it and you'll fold it out. It is a very
Okay, so it's not get your
gentle
aggression out. Be
process.
gentle. No, get your
Well,
aggression out. Just be gentle.
again, depending on the bread,
Yeah.
yes. But for the artisan loaves, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be pretty gentle. I mean, when you're first mixing it up, you get your hands in there,
Yeah.
but you're just a sticky mess of
Yeah. But
stuff.
the finishing part, when you're getting ready to,
It jiggles. I
yeah.
mean, it's still not ever firm. If it's firm, you've done something wrong. It's not hydrated enough, right? I normally do like a 75% hydration, which is lower than some people do, but it makes it easier to work with. Some people will suggest when you start doing a 70% hydration, which none of y'all will know what that talks about, but it's basically the amount of water that you put in versus flour.
Yeah.
So let's say I had 100 grams of flour. If I put in 70 grams of water, that's a 70% hydration. I normally do 75. So I just bump that up for whatever recipe that I'm doing. But yeah, it makes the dough so different. But I love it because you have to be careful with it.
Yeah.
You have to time it right. Like you have to, don't let it rise too far, because then if it loses it, then when you're making because you have your mother, which
Yep.
is your main starter, right? When you hear people call about their starter or their mother, same thing.
Yep.
Mine is called Ruth. And then you make what
Baby Ruth. Then you make
I
baby
make,
Ruth.
yeah, no, I was going to tell them what it was actually called, but then I was like, well, it gets all confusing for people. But so when you are making bread, you pull from your starter or your mother and you make something to start that loaf, which is called a levain. Again, it's French. I call mine baby Ruths. And if they're fart heads, which means they rise, then they get to be bread. So only baby Ruths that are fart heads get to be bread.
How many loaves do you do every 7 to 10 days?
I mean, I could do bread every day if I wanted. I just
Oh,
need
okay,
to,
you could. Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't have to wait for anything. My
Oh,
starter is ready to go. She lives in the fridge. The only thing is I would need 24 hours notice.
okay.
Because if, let's say you said, Misty, can I have bread on Friday? Absolutely, Cheryl, you can have bread on Friday. Tonight, I'm going to feed my starter. I'm going to feed Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, I'm going to pull her out. I'm going to make a baby Ruth. That whole process with the bulk rising and all of that can take 8 to 12 hours. Then I'm going to shape it and put it in a basket. And then I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight and I can bake it for you the next morning. Right. So I would
Fabulous.
be baking it on Thursday morning so I could have it to you by Friday. Now, I could speed up that process a little bit, but you just have to give everything time.
Yeah, and I
So
think
I
if I
could
was you,
start it.
I would give the time too because you know that the bread's gonna work. You're gonna, get given the time.
Yeah, because the starter has to have time to get into the flour
Yeah,
and the warmer water and grow and feed.
yeah.
Whereas with an active yeast, which is what's in most breads, you could just make bread right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mine has to grow,
yeah.
and it basically takes what would be sugar and converts it into gas and makes it airy, which is why I call them fart heads, because
Yeah.
it's basically a fart bread, right? It's all the enzymes in
It
there getting.
is.
It is. And that's why it's my passion, because I can talk about farts and it
Yeah.
sounds official.
The bread
I'm a
is farty.
child,
It
but it's
does. It
fun.
does. Even the
But it
Amish bread
really.
would fart because it would get air bubbles in. So,
Exactly. And that's why you'll see those pictures of live sourdoughs and it's like bubbling out over that. I have done that. I don't try to do that. It was an accident. I didn't realize she was so active. And I put in a little bit too much water and flour when I fed her. And she was like, this is delicious, and just grew too much. But yeah, it's so much fun, but it does take time and
yeah,
it does take planning. And so for a lot of people, hard pass.
yeah.
Can't do it. They don't have the time. They don't have the patience. They don't have the planning. But I mean, it's been great. My mom has taught me much now because she's gotten so far into it and she has a little bit more time in it because I do other things other than sourdough. But it's been wonderful and it's been fun and it's been nice to share. And knowing the ingredients that I put in my body when I am having something that, is with carbs for me makes me feel better about it.
I am really curious because you said you do cinnamon rolls with the bread. I'm curious of when you're done making the cinnamon rolls, if you make a caramel glaze, pour it on top, let it set, and then you could have caramel rolls. Have you tried that or thought of that?
I haven't because I've never had that. I'm
Oh,
sure it would be good. I've never heard
okay.
of a caramel
Maybe
cinnamon
it's more.
roll,
We have caramel rolls up here a lot at a lot of the bakeries, and I've made that many times, but
but
not with
it's
sourdough bread.
so it's still. I mean, now I'm curious because I don't know what we're
Okay,
talking
so
about,
when
but
you
it
make
sounds
your
good. So
cinnamon
you make
rolls,
just like a regular cinnamon roll, but you cover it with caramel.
well, you're gonna, you can put the cinnamon, or excuse me, yeah. So you make your cinnamon rolls. You pour your caramel mixture that you've boiled. You put it in the bottom of your pan. Then you put your cinnamon rolls on top. Then when you're done baking it, you flip it over, and you have caramel rolls. Now, if you want to add nuts, you can add nuts.
No,
But
no, hard pass. No nuts.
yeah,
No nuts
when
in the
I eat
cinnamon
my
rolls.
so I like it squishy too. So yeah, I don't add nuts. But yeah, so you just rubber pan, you're putting your cinnamon rolls in. I already had your caramel mixture on the bottom, and then just set them on top, and then put it in the oven, and then when they take it out, flip it on top of platter or bigger plate because the caramel will move around a little bit, and
What do you
delicious.
think, Mary? Should I try those and bring you one?
Hey, I have a flight in 2 days to Texas.
I mean, that's all I need. I only need 24 hours. I always tell Cheryl, if you want to come visit, that's fine. Come anytime. You can have bread, but if you don't give me 24 hours notice, you're having to eat freezer bread.
I'm gonna freezer bread. Woohoo! freezer bread. I'll take freezer
Cheryl's
bread.
down.
I don't want to
I mean,
complain
it's
about
real
bread.
good. It's real good. I put it in the air fryer, or I love to make a grilled cheese sandwich out of them, to be honest. Yeah, I figured that does sound good. Now I have to figure out how to make caramel without sugar, but we'll get to that.
It's just butter and your whatever sweetener of
Yeah, my
choice. Put it in the
allulose
pan.
or something.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
but
you
I
just
don't know how long or how much butter or how much sugar. That's what I'll just
okay,
ask.
okay,
I'll ask you later, Cheryl.
okay. No worries. I will help you out.
Thanks. If I have a baking question, I ask either Cheryl or Mary. I'll be like, how do you do that? What would that be? Cheryl's like, well, I don't know. What are you trying to do? I'm like, I want a pie crust. She's like, oh, then do this.
Did
But
you
no,
try
that
the
sounds
pie
good.
crust yet?
No, I have not actually. I
Oh,
ended up
that's
just
all right.
making, because I was like, I don't want the extra calories.
Because it's easy how you already made them, and you know they taste delicious, so you don't need the crust. Crust would be
Yeah.
fun to have, but you don't need
Yeah.
it.
I think that recipe you could even make you a little individual little pie.
Yeah, you
Right?
probably
Like,
could.
and make a crust out of that same thing. It would
Yep.
still bake deliciously. It's just the way she does it in the muffin tins
Yeah,
is
so you just
more.
take your little things and you pour like a tablespoon in and pat it down, or if you need a
Yeah.
little bit more, add a little bit more, and then just pat it in with your fingers.
Yeah, that part I know how to do. I just didn't know how much of any of the ingredients I would need. Like, I knew it was almond flour and butter, but how much of what? I don't have any idea. That's the kind of stuff I have to look up still. But no, that does sound good. I have not tried that because I did not know it was a thing that people did. I have only and normally I do the bread because people really like the cinnamon bread. It's not as sweet as a cinnamon roll, but it's still, it hits that sweet craving. And for a lot of those of us who do a keto or low carb lifestyle, your sweet level craving actually goes down. You don't want it as sweet as you used to anymore.
That's true.
For a lot of times. So a lot of
And
people
if you
like the
give it
cinnamon loaf.
away and someone wants it a teeny bit sweeter, all they have to do is mix powdered sugar, whether it's sugar substitute or a regular powdered sugar with a splash of little milk and drizzle a little frosting on. And then you have a super decadent cinnamon roll.
Yep. So, or make a cream cheese icing.
Oh, yeah, that too. Plenty of options if you want to bump it up that little level. I mean,
yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes that frosting is like when you get that cake frosting, like from the wherever bakeries or whatever, when it's like that thick, it's like it makes back my throat go. It's just too much.
I don't even know how I would do with regular frosting.
Well, I'm talking about, like, when you're a kid and you got those cakes, even that was too
I know.
It just made the back of my throat like I don't know how to describe it.
I'll be really honest. Before I started keto, if you gave me a piece of cake, I would just swoop that icing right off, unless it was whipped icing, because then it's basically whipped cream, and I could eat that.
Whipped cream. No, I love a whipped cream icing.
Buttercream I could do most of the time. Sometimes even the buttercream didn't make it all the way through, but that hard royal icing kind of stuff, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I didn't even like it before I started.
I know. I'm with you. I agree on that. No, I'm just so proud of you because one, you like your air fryer and easy, and now you're baking, you're making bread, you're making little miniature cheesecakes and all sorts of things. And you got a electric beater mixer and you're just trying all these new things. And, if someone was to say to you 2 years ago, hey, Misty, you're going to be making sourdough bread from scratch. You would like, yeah, right.
Well, 2 years ago, I would have told you that wasn't keto. So I wouldn't have done it. But that's the truth. That's the truth. But things change. My lifestyle changed and I got into fitness and I look at things differently. And sometimes for the rest of my life, I want bread and I would prefer to make it myself than eat the keto bread a lot of the times. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's fabulous. I just say, and plus your mom's doing it. And I just can't wait to hear about new recipes you guys make. I mean, that's so cool. Your mom's making English muffins. And that is very interesting that neighbors and friends don't want the artisan bread.
Yeah. She's like, they don't like it. They want soft, fluffy white bread.
Okay. The squishy white Wonder Bread. I like the
Yeah.
crunch, like the French baguettes. And, I
Yeah,
like
no,
that crunch.
they don't want, you would think they would. I mean, it's Cajun country, they're
Yeah.
French, but they don't like a crusty bread like that,
You know what? That
evidently.
is interesting because that was one of my
Because
favorite
she can
vacations
barely
we
even
went
give it
to.
away.
And everywhere we went, I'd say the crunchiest bread, I think, was the beignet, maybe the little crisp, because we had the poor boys and some muffalettas and
And it's
whatnot.
all
The breads are
soft
all
white.
soft.
It's all soft white
Yeah.
bread. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't like it crunchy for whatever reason. I don't know.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day it was too hard on the teeth of people from years past. So it's just a soft bread for all these delicious meals they make. You just
Could
don't know.
be. It's that crunch of that crispy crust and then that soft inside. Oh, so good. Yeah,
Yes,
it's good.
yes. You got me
I love
drooling
the
over here.
texture. I love the flavor. Yeah. And there's so many things you can do outside of bread. Oh, I know, I guess I should have counted this, but it's a discard recipe, which there's all this sourdough is a lot. I could spend an hour just teaching you the basic words of sourdough, which I won't bore you with, but discard is anything that you haven't used yet, right? To make bread. You could either have it fed, which means you've given it flour and water, or unfed, which means you haven't given it flour and water for a few days. Well, they have a discard pancake recipe. Oh my goodness. Those were probably my favorite. They were definitely my favorite pancakes that I have ever made. They had such an interesting flavor with the sourdough starter, and it was just sourdough starter. Oh,
That's
and I
awesome.
did make a cracker out of it too. They make wonderful crackers. You just spread it out real thin and then put whatever you want on top of it. I put a little garlic, some kind of, I don't know, one of those Kinder seasonings. It's like a red
Yeah.
pepper garlic roast or something. I don't remember. Anyway, I put that on top of it. Delicious crackers.
Well,
So
that
it's
does
way
sound
more than
delicious.
just bread. Yeah, it's crackers, it's pizza doughs, it's, all kinds of things that you can make out of.
Yep.
It's basically, instead of buying active yeast, you just have this little starter. And my mom has gotten so good at it. She has dehydrated her starter, shipped it to her sister-in-law, and she made bread.
Fabulous. That's
I know, isn't that cool?
awesome.
I know, right?
That is cool.
I'm just so proud of her. I'm like, you're just impressing me left and right, Mom. She's like, well, you started it. I was like, I started it, and then you took off and ran with that, man. I mean, she's learned so much, and because it's a passion.
Mm-hmm. All right, gold stars for Miss Pamela. Woo woo.
Yeah, Mama. Woo. She's been sick, so prayers for my mama.
Yep.
So I told her when you asked me to join today, I told her that I was going to be here. I'm sure she'll watch the replay. So we love you, Mama. Good job on your sourdough.
We want you healthy and strong ASAP.
Yeah. They went out for a St. Jude fundraiser. They look so pretty in their big old hats. But sadly, somebody there was evidently sick with the sickness. So
hey, boss lady Denise, thanks for popping in, girl. Hi, see, meeting people and Sharia's morning workouts. Tasharia was here. Boss lady Denise. Sometimes I'm doing steps. Sometimes I'm doing my physical therapy. I'm just doing whatever, and it's just fun listening. And Misty's right. Some days Tasharia maybe gets a few minutes of exercise. But then there's days she does a little bit extra. She might get almost full 20 minutes in while doing all the other stuff she's doing.
Yeah. I don't know what else. I didn't know where you were going with that at first. I'm sorry. It made me laugh. I love you, Tasharia, but it is true. There'll be some days she gets so into talking her voice. She'll just be passionate. Talk about passions. Yes. That woman has some passions right there. But she'll be like, all right, let's start this workout. What time is it? Oh, it's 6:25. I only got 5 minutes. Let's get it in. She's still going to do as much as she can.
But yeah, she sends good vibes. She's positive, good messages. loves everybody that's there. She wants everybody to succeed like we do. I mean, and so, like I said, I don't always do everything she's doing, but I'm doing something when I'm there because I'm up. So I'm going to get some fitness and wherever my level is of fitness is going on.
I'm 100% to Sherry. I love you never doing what you're doing because I'm getting ready to do boot camp for an hour with our coach, which you can't do anything before that or else you won't be able to make it.
But there's also she's setting you up for good positivity.
Whether she is. Yeah, she's getting me pumped and hyped. Yep. I just don't do the workout part stuff, but I do the community poll. I say yes to the affirmation after I read it. I don't just push the button. I affirm it.
Yeah, I read it, affirm it. I go look for her questionnaire on the YouTube page, whatever.
The community
tab poll. Her surveys, and so yeah. So welcome back. And then we got LB, who I don't remember. Oh no, LB's here for a little while. You've been here. LB is here. Oh, Sherry is giving us some love. Yeah, we love y'all. We're just so grateful you're here. And I know some of you have come a little bit later. Yes, we got our beautiful Misty. She is helping me out tonight. Our good friend Alita was the surprise guest tonight, but she is unfortunately not feeling too good. So we send her out love and healing. And we got the beautiful Misty stepping up for me, and I can't be more grateful. Thank you, girl.
I will always be here for you, Cheryl, in any way that I can help. Plus, you're one of my favorite people to talk to. So
I love you so much. You just
it's always a good
and Misty's right. I did stalk her. I didn't realize I was stalking you, but I'm like, because I never commented on people's videos. So then you responded to me, and I was like, Rick, a YouTuber responded to me, said something. My whole family.
No, I mean, that makes my heart so happy. And also, it's just me, Cheryl. Like, that's what I want to tell everybody. Like, it's not that impressive. I comment on everybody's comments.
It is impressive because you took time, you didn't know me, and now you know me. But it's like one of those things. It's like, I watched, I never commented. It's a foreign thing because to me at that time.
Oh no, I mean, I get it. It's not just, that's the thing. Mary was that way. You were that way. Camille was that way. I mean, I've been able to talk you and Camille in the channels. Mary, no pressure. Really no pressure on Mary. She's not going to be doing a channel, guys. I know her. She's a good friend. There will be no Mary YouTube channel, but
she'll join our group. She's always welcome.
Or even Gina. I just found out recently, Gina used to watch me back, I think, before I even started the weight loss. And then she saw me again and was like, whoa, is that the same? And then she's been back and following me again. I mean, there are people that have come through my YouTube channel and they're like, oh man, I think you're amazing. I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm like, oh, don't do that. You don't need to do that. You can just catch up with me. But there have been people and they will go and they will comment on not every video because I have like 600 or something. But I know there have been a few people who have spent hours and hours watching all my old stuff too, which I think is great. And I have done that for people that I enjoy and gone back and watched their old content. So like, I totally get that. All of it is ask is if you do that, or if you're watching me now, leave me a comment because I want to know. I want to know that you're watching it because I think it's fun. Sometimes it freaks me out a little bit when those videos pop up and I hear myself and I sound so different and I look so different. I have a moment of, oof. And then I have a moment of, yeah. It's that, whew, how did I stay that way for so long? But like, yeah, now it don't matter because we're not that way no more. So it's fine. Keep going. Respond to the comment. But I mean, I do have anxiety issues and I do have different mental, things that trigger me and trouble me sometimes. And so there will be phases like within this last year where I'd go weeks and I might do a video, but I wouldn't reply to any comment. So I'm trying to be better about that now that I'm feeling much more like myself this year. after finding out that I'm in menopause, and it's not all in my head. My body actually was changing and
Yes.
making everything different and harder on me. But knowing that it's not all in my head certainly does help a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I've had that feeling too. You go there, I mean, there's something, but I just don't know. And then, maybe it took a few months to figure it out or whatever have you, or even a year. And then when you finally get that answer, you're like, oh, thank goodness, because I was like, I felt like I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my life, or I'm taking too much Advil, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, finally, now you know how to move forward from what you found out. Yeah, it is. It's a relief. It is a relief.
Yeah,
I
knowing is half the battle, but it really does help because, like, I'll be honest, this morning I woke up and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm already exhausted, and I haven't even gotten out of the bed yet." I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be one of them days." It was like I could just tell when I woke up. But I went on my walk with my best friend Amy. We do like a 2.5 mile walk every Tuesday and Thursday. I came back, I bounced on my and rebounders. That's our new passion. Jumped on my trampoline for a little bit, and then I, started working. I made sure I ate breakfast. I made sure I got my electrolytes. Made sure I had lunch. Made sure I had dinner. I'm trying to make sure I feed myself and fuel my body, get my electrolytes in, and those things help. I'm taking different supplements, which I'll be talking about more. I kind of want to keep it for a while to see if it is actually going to continue to help and everything before I talk about it, but. Yeah, it's sorry, I got so excited about the rebounder that event.
We're going to talk about the rebounder, but I want to talk about today too. The
Okay.
weather just got up to 51 degrees today. So my arthritis is just, it's like, I just to even get out, because if you don't know, I sleep in a recliner because of fibro and stuff. So if I don't lay on my side, then, I feel better. Because if I lay on my side, my hips and shoulders and, blah, 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 it doesn't feel too good. But I sure did not want to move to go to the bathroom. I'm like that. But I got up. I like to Sherry was on. I did some steps. I did my stretches. I did my things. I didn't want to today. I really did not want to. And Misty knows I got things going on, and some of my other, pals do. And it's just like today was but I did it. I'm here. Sorry, Misty, I didn't wash my beautiful locks for you.
I didn't wash mine for you either, Cheryl, but they tiny, so you can't really tell.
I did put some of the effort in when I do
I
my
know,
locks.
I love the orange.
Whoever's favorite color, I try to incorporate that.
Look, and I accidentally wore my backup color, so I have my two favorites on screen.
Got the favorite colors. Well, yeah. So I put some effort in, but did I put my 100% effort? No, because today just But guess what we did? We slowly crushed it. We survived, and we're crushing it.
That's absolutely right. And we'll try to do our best again tomorrow. And then
all right, now let's talk about the trampoline. Oh my gosh. Tomorrow.
I know. Tomorrow's the day that they're all going to hate me for a little bit, but then be really excited.
Well, Misty's had one for a long time, and I've had on my wish list. I know I probably talked on and off with her over a year about it. Oh, it's on my wish list. I've asked her questions about the one her mom had got her. So that's just kind of on the back burner. But Misty, you go ahead and say what you got going on, and I'll share what I have happening.
Sure. Well, I mean, absolutely. So when I started my weight loss, I know we're getting close to the hour, so I'll try to make it pretty quick. But
if everyone wants to stay a little bit longer, we'll go a little bit
okay,
longer.
If it takes a little bit longer, I apologize, guys. I'm a talker, but I kind of want to tell the story of how I got there, right? Because I think that's what interests people about it and why I make the decisions that I make. So when I started health or the weight loss journey, there was going to be zero fitness. Health was hopeful, but fitness is 0%. We weren't doing that. That's stupid. Nobody does fitness. No, only fit people do fitness. That's silly. Fitness is for fit people. That's truly what I believed. And so I was like, you know what? I do feel better. I am about 75 pounds lighter. It was like coming up on my 1 year of doing all this. And I was like, my mama had a little trampoline, and hers is much nicer, to be fair. But she had gotten it for her hips, and she's getting older and to strengthen her bones and all that. And she's had hers for a while. So I asked for one for Christmas. And I was like, I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. And I jumped on it for like a week and I didn't like it. I felt unstable, unbalanced. My vertigo was kind of kicked in, like, and then it had just sat folded up in a bag for like 2 years. So you put it on your wish list like 3 years ago, Cheryl. So it's been there for a minute, just so everybody knows. And then over the past year and two, as I've been getting more into fitness, my knees hurt. They hurt so bad. I have arthritis so bad. And I'm looking for ways to increase my stamina. That's my word for the year, stamina. And it's like sometimes I'm physically limited because of the arthritis in my knees and in my joints and things like that. But with a rebounder, it's low impact. I can actually run in place, but I can simulate like a high knee run. I can do jumping jacks and it doesn't hurt at all. And so I can get my heart rate really up in a good cardio zone where normally that's hard for me to maintain because it's just physically too painful.
Yeah.
And what I have learned is a year and a half ago now, I realized that I have a really severe heel strike when I walk. So I hit my heel and then go down. So I switched to barefoot shoes. And then I thought, well, maybe it's just the wide toe box that I like and the zero drop. So I got some Ultras, which are a fabulous shoe, still highly recommend. But my knees started hurting again. And there was just something about the extra cushion that throws off the way I walk and jog to where my knees would hurt whenever I would walk. And so, well, it also has helped a ton that my doctor put me on diclofenac sodium, which is it's over the counter. It's called Voltaren, but I take it internally as a pill, not the cream that you can buy over the counter. But if you have any arthritis, Voltaren is wonderful for a lot of people.
You suggested it to me. I bought it. I have it. So I like that.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but you can often find or check with my mama. She knows how to get a coupon for stuff always. she would buy it for me on sale at CVS and stuff. But yeah, so doing that as well. And then last week when I went to the doctor, I found out that in less than 2 years, I went from not even being in perimenopause to being in menopause. So, and I'm pretty sure that's happened over the last year, maybe as far back as when my dad passed. And that's sort of why my life got out of whack. And for those of you who have been following me a long time, you know, my content really wasn't the same last year. It was basically live streams and a video every now and then when I could. So in doing that, I didn't want to go on hormone replacement therapy. I know you're on it. I know it works great for you. No, a lot of people on it works great for them. I'm just the benefits right now do not outweigh the risk in my mind. Is it only in my mind? Probably, yeah, but it's still in my mind. And so your mind is a powerful tool. But the women in my family who have taken it have gotten an estrogen-driven cancer. So I don't want to do that. And I don't feel that my symptoms are bad enough to warrant that. To be honest, I really don't. If that changes,
you have options.
Maybe. Exactly. Then I have options open to me, right? But when I told my doctor that, we all know if you've been following me, I have a few issues with my doctor, but we won't get deep into those. But he said, well, you shouldn't be worried about cancer. You should be worried about osteoporosis. And I was like, that's a very valid point because I'm 48. So it is a little bit earlier for menopause than traditional, I guess. I don't know. They say it's mostly women in their 50s is when it starts, late 40s, early 50s, and they're done in their mid to early to mid 50s. Anyway, whatever. He said the moment you stop getting those hormones, your bones could lose their density and it could lead to osteoporosis. And a lot of older people, the reason that they pass away is from falls. Or they get put in nursing homes because they've broken a bone, broken a hip, So it is something that I want to look at. And so instantly I started doing research. And one of the top things that kept coming up were strength training, which I do every day, and rebounding. And I was like, of course, that's going to help too. So the good news was I'd already been doing it since the first of the year because I realized that I have this. This is a spring-based trampoline that I had this in a bag and I pulled it out when I moved and displayed it. And so I had gotten on it a few times over the last few months, but I realized when I walk on it, my knee doesn't hurt. And we're doing the balance breaker steps challenge. Go shrinkables and walkaholics.
Woo!
I'm on Team Shrinkables with Deanna, but go all balance breakers. We are going to defeat
balance breakers.
everybody. It's not a contest. Everybody's great. But
it's just fun to shout out our teams. It's just fun.
We're doing that. And so Coach at the Fit Squad also did a steps challenge in January. And she said she's going to set her goal at 12,000. And I'm not a competitive person, but I'm like, if Coach is doing it, I'm doing it. Let's do 12,000. I was like, oh my God, my knee is going to hurt so bad walking all that much because walking hurts. I'd rather pick up heavy things and put them down 100 times than walk a mile, to be honest, physically, normally. And then I was like, let me jump on this rebounder. Let me get on my jumpaline and see and I crushed my 12,000. I was at almost 14,000 steps average for the month. I accidentally got my highest steps average ever without even realizing it because it's been so great because I can either just bounce and do just almost no kind of movement or especially on the new one. So I've been talking about it and evidently I got everybody else hyped up about it too. Mary has had one very similar. I don't know what brand she has, but the same style that I have. It may be the same one because it's an Amazon brand, right? Well, now we're all going to have the same one again because Mary's also been loving hers and she agreed with me when I was saying it. And then Camille got one. Mary got one. I got one. Coach got one. And who else? Cheryl got one. Cheryl did.
Yeah. Well, Misty's Discord, if you're not involved, check out Misty's Discord. Camille says it's on sale Amazon. I just bought it and you guys were talking, I was busy and also I quick read what was on the Discord. I'm like, I stopped reading when I seen you two talk about it on sale. I'm like, I went on. I'm like, how much gift cards do I have? How much do I need to pay out of pocket? I'm getting that. So then I respond, hey, I just ordered that.
I know. So yeah, we were talking about it and Camille looked at one that I had, the brand that I had been looking at. So the version that everybody else got, actually Coach got the same one that I did, of course, because we like to be Twinkies. And we go big or go home. Let's be honest. That's really what it is. So I got the 48-inch, which is like a hex one. So it's big and nice, but y'all are getting one that's like this size, this 48 size. So when Camille said that this size was on sale for as cheap as it was, I was like, oh my God, that's like half. I was just looking at that the other day. That's half of what, and sure enough, it was like on 40% off and had a $10 coupon.
And then that $10 coupon. So with my gift cards, I only had to pay $9 plus the $10 tax. So $19 for a $200
jumpaline, rebounder.
Rebounder, jumpaline. Hey, that's nothing to sneeze at. Bargain of the century for me. Right here.
Happy birthday, Cheryl. All right. Like, I mean,
hey, 55 is still rolling in.
Let's do it. Yeah, but it's so much. Oh, so anyway, the two of you got it. And then I was like, well, I need one because I've been talking about the bungee one. That's what got y'all excited about it, but I don't actually own one myself. But it just so happened the day y'all were talking about it was my 4-year anniversary. So I messaged my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm starting a movement. I got Camille in a bungee jumper. I got Cheryl with a bungee jumper. I got my mom jumping on hers again as part of her fitness routine that I do for her. We've added in jumping. Mary had been doing it for the whole month and crushing her steps. And my mom's like, I think you need it. I was like, I do, right? Okay, great. I love my mom. She already knew where I was going with all that.
And plus, it's going to be quieter, right? Because it doesn't have the springs.
Girl, it is silent. Like, if y'all could.
I know what the springs ones sound like because my kids had one when they were kids. So I know how loud it is.
Real fast for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I know we only have a minute. You want me to go grab it? I can go
Yeah,
grab
go
it
grab
and
it,
give you
girl.
a
Go
brief
grab it.
demo of the
Yeah.
difference. Hold on, everybody. Talk to Cheryl. I'll be right back.
We're going to chat for a minute. I just want to thank everybody that has come in here tonight in the chat. If you come for the replay, thank you. And if you have ever used a little mini trampoline rebounder, let us know. Did you like it? It's my kids have a giant trampoline in the backyard, but they had a little mini one in the house. They loved it. I remember jumping on it once in a while. But, as kids get older, you don't want all the stuff they own in the house. And when they don't play with it anymore or use it, things go. So, oh, yeah, look at how much bigger yours is, girl.
Yes.
Wow.
It's taller and bigger.
Awesome.
So, you know what? I'm going to bring my mic down closer so that you can hear. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you might not be able to. You know what? You can even hear that, probably just me doing that.
I could hear it. We could hear it. That was loud.
Yeah, so this is the one that I had.
No.
It's not horrible, right?
No, it's not horrible.
And it's got a decent bounce, but then you have this.
Wowzers. Yay! I cannot wait. Look at Misty go. Yeah, no noise at all. That's fabulous.
So you have super squeaky and then dead quiet. I love it.
And the thing is,
Misty
got the bigger one. She had to put it all completely together. The ones that Mary, Camille, and I are getting, they kind of started. So we still will put them together, but not as like Misty did. And check out her video. She shows how she put it all together. I was thinking about making a video, but I don't edit, so we'll have to see. If it takes me a very long time, I won't post a video, but I'll post maybe me jumping on it or something. Because if it takes me an hour to put together, who wants to watch me put a thing together for an hour? But if I can get it done in a decent amount of time, maybe I, whatever. So I'll try.
Well, I mean, it took me 2 hours to put it together, and I had to edit down to what? Yeah. I think it's still edited down to only 23 minutes, which is super long, but so
but I'm excited. I know Misty's excited. Mary and Camille and Kirsten. And so I let Kirsten know. I said, hey, Kirsten, we're getting all these, but I didn't tell her to be like gloaty or anything because I just have a little mini gym. I have a mini gym, so I thought it was kind of cool that I was getting a rebounder.
It is. You're growing your home gym. That's always exciting, Cheryl. I love your little home gym.
So I let Kirsten know. She goes, what? I go, yeah, Missy, and then we're talking about it, and Camille's stuff was on sale. So I told her we were all getting them. It's just, should I get one? I go, yeah, I think so.
I know. I'm just sitting there, and Coach pops into we have an Instagram chat with her once you join her channel membership. She'll add you to that. And Coach is like, I'm so excited about the rebounder. I'm going to buy one. I was like, that's great. And then I was like, wait, how does she know about that? She tell Coach about. And I was like, oh, I bet it was Cheryl. I was like, good job, Cheryl. Because I just would have never even thought to mention it to her. I'm sure I would have talked about it, and things like that. Yeah. But it was in that time where we were all getting excited about it. I had been talking about it. And then you were also like, hey, Coach, we're doing all of this thing. And she is not one to let us do something fun without her. So she got the big one, of course, like I did. I'm like, oh, Coach, I'll give you some tips for when you put it together. But yeah, the one y'all got, it'll be quiet like this one, but it'll be the size of this smaller, which is plenty big.
Plenty big enough. Yeah.
Please know I only went big or go home because I was buying it as a gift for myself and because the bar that it uses for stability.
Oh, yeah. Misty has a bar so she can hold up if she wants to kick up or do things. She can hold on to the bar.
Yeah, it's called a T-bar. So the bar that y'all will have is like an upside down U. Yep. Whereas the bar that I have is just a T, so that if you do want to kick your legs out, you're not in the way of that bar. And I want to use this to be able to jump and to get that heart rate and energy up and to get my bones strong. so that even though I've started menopause early, I don't have to be worried about osteoporosis, Mr. Doctor, because I'm doing all of the right things to prevent it, right? I'm taking all the
And
supplements I need for
I'm
it,
in your
doing
same
strength
boat. I need
training.
to worry about these things too.
A
So,
lot of us do as we
you
get
know,
older.
so, you know,
It's
and I
fun.
think, yeah, there's a lot of us in this group that have already, you know, maybe we've had to have a hysterectomy or whatever. So there's a lot of us in this group that this is going to be very beneficial for us. And I'm very excited. You know, I'm just excited, very excited. And I can't wait tomorrow. I hope it comes early, but usually my Amazon stuff comes after dinner. So we will see.
Bummer. Yeah, but I think y'all are going to hate me for a minute, but then it'll be okay. My tips are use the tool that they give you. Don't be stubborn like your pal Misty.
Yeah, that tool looks super slick, especially because
Yeah,
Misty
the
sent us a
tool.
video. You sent us all
Yeah.
a video
Yeah, I
on
did.
how to put it
Yeah,
together.
of course.
So we're prepared.
I'm here for you. We're a team. We got this in together. And if I can bring people into rebounding with me, like I said, I'll even start doing a couple of videos.
I think we should get some tanks or tops. Hashtag
OLJB.
And
We
if you
have,
don't know what that is, you got to check out Misty's channel. She talks about it. And, you know,
it was a group name that got plussed until we got to the OLJB. So yeah.
Started out little and then it grew and now we're like, yeah.
Now we're a hashtag. Let's get it, old ladies. Come on. I mean, spoiler for what the OL stands for.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's just share. We're excited. Old lady.
Old lady jump bunch.
We're the old lady jump bunchers. Hello.
You don't have to be an old lady though. You can be a man, you can be a young lady. It just so happened that I was doing this specifically or excited about it specifically because I was in menopause, which I said meant I could call myself an old lady. The Discord still disagreed with me because I'm like 12-year-olds in attitude, but officially old lady. Old lady status achieved. I was like, Mama, how's that make you feel? She's like, real good, thanks. I was like, oh, that's cool.
So we have a wonderful conversation. Do you want to share some things that you have coming up, and whether it's lives or videos ideas, maybe making some rebounder videos to get us in shape? What do you got going on, my friend?
Yep. So I do my live stream on my channel every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central. This week, it was kind of messed up last week because I got my days messed up and realized, anyway, we're doing non-scale victories this Thursday. I used to do my live streams on Monday, and changing it has kind of got me out of sorts, but it's every Thursday at 5 p.m. this month, or this week, we're going to talk about non-scale victories. I talk about all different kinds of topics, or just share about where I am in my health or in my fitness, or I bake or I cook something or do whatever. I have a lot of different videos filmed. I already have 3 that are edited and scheduled to go upload. Well, one of them went up today, so I have 2 more that are scheduled for upload and then 2 more that I'm editing. Like I said, after my dad died, I went really downhill and just lost all my mojo. And now I realize that's because I was going through what they call the change of life. And I already had one of those when I lost all the weight and changed everything about me. So I kind of went through 2 changes of life to end where I am now. And now I'm kind of back to where I am. I have I was telling my mom I got my YouTube mojo back. I want to be out here. I want to share. I want people to be excited in the community about fitness, about their health, and about being here and supporting each other. And that's really what I want my channel to be. So it is a lot of taste test videos because tasting new things is kind of scary to me, but it's fun. And if it's really gross, y'all seem to like it even more. Not me, but y'all. But it's just a fun way for me to do different things. I'm going to start doing more taste tests with actual like keto products, because I don't really share what I eat in a day or anything like that because I struggle with eating and food aversion. So, which is also why it kind of makes them fun sometimes for y'all, because I'm like, I cannot eat it, but I'll try it for a taste test, right? Do it for the YouTube. So yeah, I'm hoping to have videos on Tuesdays, Fridays, and maybe every once in a while on a Monday or a Sunday, or a Monday or a Saturday for something different. Like if I had that YouTube video for the Jumpaline, I wanted to get that out just so that I could really show y'all how to do the tool there at the end. And so, anyway, that's what I like. I like to help. I'm a certified personal trainer with the American Council on Exercise. So if you have any questions, if you need any support, like Cheryl said, I do have a Discord on all of my regular videos, not on the live streams, but on the regular videos. I have a link for you to join that if you're interested. It's a good place with a lot of great friends. We do sometimes talk ourselves into. Camille and I are the worst. It's really just me and Camille. What am I talking about? It's really just me and Camille. I mean, I bought Ultra shoes and now she's bought a rebounder. I feel like that's fair. No, and you don't have to buy anything when you're in the.
No, you don't need to buy anything.
It's you don't need to buy it.
I had this on my wish list, and when Camille said 40% off plus a $10 coupon, my brain's like, what? Let me go look.
Yeah, well, me too, because I had it on my list. That's why I knew that which one y'all were talking about, and I knew it was already a good deal because you have to put it together right? And so that's part of why it's so cheap. But yeah, it's funny when we I think it was I think it was Mary said I'm an influencer. Look at me, I'm an influencer. But if I can influence people, if I can influence people to make themselves the happiest, healthiest version of themselves that they can be, sign me up twice on Sundays. Come on now, let's do it. Let's all move together. And if it's bouncing on there,
1,000,000,000%. I do.
We accidentally got to fitness in the end, but it's so fun, guys. I couldn't help it. It's a passion. It's going to come out every time.
It's a passion of Misty's, and it's called Hobbies and Passions. That's what we're talking about tonight.
We just got specific. Maybe next time we'll do barbell passion because I got that too.
Hey, Misty and I have a lot we can chat about. So whether I schedule her or someone cancels, we got our Misty gal. I mean,
I'll be here for you anytime, Cheryl.
Yeah. Well, I want to send out good vibes, prayers, and well wishes to Miss Pamela to heal up, Miss Alita, anyone else who needs that. You're on our minds. We care about you. We're sending love. And thank you so much, Misty, for being my special guest tonight. It's just absolutely wonderful. Thank you for everyone who is able to be in the chat. We love you and appreciate each and every one of you. And if you are a replayer, hey, let us know if you ever been on a rebounder or a giant trampoline, maybe even as a kid. Did you like it? Let us know down in the comments. Misty's a huge advocator. I'm going to be one soon.
I think you'll love it, Cheryl. I really do. Once you get it put together, you're going to love it. It's really great.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you wholeheartedly. Well, thank you, Misty. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, you're amazing. We love you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.